Hi, Tired. I'm Ryan, and this is my co-host Matthew, and we're Dadcast. How are you doing this week, buddy?
Good. I was just thinking, since we both have children that are refusing to sleep during nap time, I was just wondering, does that make them guilty of resisting arrest? Arrest? Do you get it?
I think you broke me. I'm just a shell of the former man I used to be.
Right? There was just so much silence and it made me uneasy. Oh,
I am the father formerly known as Ryan.
Oh, now we have to think of different names for ourselves now.
Yep.
Oh, God. But anyways, to answer your question, Ryan, my week, or since we've recorded the last episode, day, has been quite eventful. Basically, just started feeling better today, so I was actually able to get up and do chores. And right before starting this podcast, my wife was trying to put the daughter to bed, and she decided to let go of everything in her bowels at that one moment. So instead of changing her, she decided to chase me around the house with a poopy diaper baby. And smell it. And I'm like, no, please don't.
I've barely recovered.
Right? So, needless to say, she changed that diaper. But I've been dodging diaper duty for the past week and a half now. So.
You've been quote unquote sick.
Yes, exactly. No, but yeah, and then played some VR and got robbed at Banana Point, and the guy stole all my cheddar. And yeah, so good times. How has your week/day been, Ryan?
Yes.
Oh God, he's transforming.
I'm becoming whatever that is. I don't even know.
Oh God, I don't think it has a name yet.
That's the McChick King.
Oh gosh.
Yes, chicken.
Oh gosh.
Give me chicken to eat. That's not a chicken, that's a turkey. Anyway.
What is happening?
I don't know. That's how my week's been. No, but I not really much else in addition to what we talked about last time we recorded. There was, I guess, earlier this week we had some tornado warnings. Being in Oklahoma, that is something that comes up quite frequently, especially during this time of the year. And so we got into shelter. Everything was all cool. Our power went out for a couple of minutes, then came back on. And later that night, we finally get the kids back to bed, and we're in the room. And we're like, hey, you know what? We're going to watch some TV. I go to turn the TV on, and it does not turn on. Oh, no. Oh, no. The power went out earlier. Is this TV just fried? Is it not ever going to turn on again? Did something trip with it? I don't know. So...
Is it tripping?
This is a story all about how my TV...
No, dear God.
Wouldn't turn on somehow. But I was doing a bunch of stuff to try to figure out exactly what was going on with this TV. I unplugged the cord from the TV itself, plugged it back in, still wouldn't turn on. I thought maybe it was the batteries. So in the remote, so I took the batteries out, replaced them, still wasn't turning on. I was like, well, shit. I had a TV when I was younger that the power surge happened. TV was just fucked and was not going to turn on anymore, and figured, great, the same thing happened to this one. And so now I'm going to have to go and get my TV out of the garage and hook it up instead, which my TV is, I think, a 34-inch or 35-inch or something like that. And the TV we currently are using is wow, it's like a 48 inch or something like that. It's bigger.
Mhm.
And my TV has only 2 HDMI ports, whereas this TV has 4. Ooh, fancy. We can plug in all of the consoles. But so I'm talking to my wife about it. And she's like, yeah, that's just what we're gonna have to do. And so I unplug the TV, unplug all of the shit from the TV, and it's sitting on top of a dresser that kind of comes up to about my shoulder height. So I'm having to basically reach up to kind of get this TV off the dresser, and this thing's heavy as shit. It's got a really weighted stand, so it's significantly heavy. And I'm trying to carry this thing out of the room and out into the garage. I've already gone out and grabbed my TV and brought it in, and it's sitting on the bed. So I've already had to, unplug a bunch of shit, go out, grabbed that TV, uncovered it because it was covered in, blankets and stuff to keep it protected. Came and carried it all the way in. I'm now about to carry this heavy-ass TV all the way out there. And my wife goes, hey, let's just plug it in the living room and see if, it works. Maybe it's something with the outlet or something. I was like, well, maybe, but I already checked some of the other stuff that's connected to the outlet. The power is perfectly fine for those. Like, those things turned on, so it's not the outlet. Okay, I'd still like to try it. So I indulged her. I was like, okay, you know what? We'll go ahead and do it. We might as well. So I get halfway into the living room. I'm standing over by the wall, still carrying this heavy ass TV, mind you. She plugs it into the wall.
Most schools.
Yeah. She plugs it into the wall. Click, click. The damn power supply to the TV comes back, and my first thought is, oh, thank goodness, like, we don't have to replace this TV with my smaller TV. The second thought that crosses my mind is, are you fucking kidding me? I unplugged all of this shit and moved and grabbed that TV, and I'm carrying this heavy ass TV, and it's so fucking heavy.
Yep.
Yeah, we still got that TV. It's nice. It still works. And that
Nice.
That was all at like midnight that night too. I just wanted to sit down or lay down and watch some TV, and I instead gave myself a
midnight
workout.
To you is early. That's early.
It is indeed. It is. No, not when I have a great workout like that, man.
Just Chris Redfield it and be like, just punch the boulder.
Punching the TV. Get up on the dresser.
Up on this TV. Like, yeah, I got it up there, and Mandy's like, the TV definitely doesn't work now.
He tries to turn it on, and it's just like a big hole in the middle of it. And she's like, honey, you broke the TV. He turns and looks at me, and I'm like, shoot a rocket launcher through it.
As it's yelling at you.
It falls off the dresser into the volcano that's somehow in our room.
Yep. If there's a volcano in your room, I think you have other problems that you need to handle.
Yeah, no joke. I mean, sometimes this room is hot like a damn volcano, so who knows? It might be one.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, that was the most eventful thing, aside from whatever it was I talked about last time. The chicken sandwich, maybe. That was exciting, I guess.
I think so. Chicken sandwich that didn't cause you to go to the doctor because everything was moving just fine.
Yep. Yeah, very interesting week. So yeah, with that, we'll get on to something that is interesting. Do you want to know what that is?
I'm trying to think of a dad joke, but I can't think of anything right now. So what is interesting?
I'll give you. I was about to say I'll give you one hint, but it's not really a hint. It'd be me telling you what it is. So I guess I'm just going to tell you what it is. Vacation's all I've ever wanted.
Oh, vacation. Okay.
Where's the trigger? Where's this topic going?
Right.
It's going on vacation.
Hi, Roger Bruce Wayne. Why are you in our vacation episode?
I had to get away.
From Gotham?
Yes. My house was foreclosed on.
You have a house? I thought you were living in a box.
That's what was foreclosed on.
Oh my god.
The bank just takes his house.
Yeah, you know inflation is bad when you have to pull a mortgage out on a box. Then the bank takes it back because you can't pay your mortgages on your box.
Dude,
It was a nice, comfy 1 square foot.
1 square foot. There was enough room for one of my legs.
Oh.
So, yeah, vacations.
So, yeah, vacations. They're always fun. Good to get away. Personally, I prefer staycations.
Don't blame you. Don't blame you.
Yeah, because they're immensely cheaper. But
yeah. You know what? Fuck this episode. No, I'm just kidding.
Scratch. No.
We're going to pivot halfway through. And you know what? This entire episode is now about foreclosures.
Foreclosures and fucking vacation. And just trying to make it in this hard world.
This world is so hard! That sounded a little bit questionable coming out of my mouth.
Which, on a side note, I will say that someone that back in, like, I want to say, like, the 60s or 70s that made $30,000 a year would be making equivalent, it's the same amount today of $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
So that's how bad inflation has gotten and all that. So, yeah. It's not fun.
You, listener, could have been Bruce Wayne. But now we're all resigned to be budget Bruce Wayne instead.
Yes. He can't afford like a cape, so he just bought like some like girly tutu and like the wings, but painted it in black and make it look like bat wings.
He just took
right there, Joker.
He just took one of those like black industrial trash bags and kind of like cut it up
to make a cape out of it.
Yes. Did he have to pull a mortgage on that too?
He took out a personal loan.
A small loan of $1 million.
Yeah, that's how bad inflation is. In order to get your trash bags, you have to take out a small loan.
Oh god!
You have to sell your car and one of your kidneys.
What if you sold both?
Well, then you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, you'll be dead here in a second.
Goodbye, cruel world. I've succeeded in outsmarting you.
Oh gosh. Anyways, back
vacations.
to vacations.
Yeah, so
sunshine, rainbows,
sunshines and rainbows and all the fun stuff going on whenever you're not at home. Or is it? I'm just kidding. When I kind of talk about one of my favorite vacations, it didn't start off super great. I'm sure for some people they have vacations that don't go anywhere near where they originally were intending for it to go. But that's just the nature of doing things in general. But I am going to go ahead and, I guess, and start talking about that. This episode is all over the place. Who knows what the hell's going on? Yeah. So I kind of alluded to this vacation before and have told a little bit of some of the stories and things that have come from this vacation. But my favorite vacation was my honeymoon. And I'm not saying that just to get on my wife's good side. I'm saying that because it actually was a very fun vacation.
Brownie points.
Don't sue me. How fucked up would that be? Your wife just sues you? Is that even legal? I don't know.
I'm sure it is.
I want to sue my husband for wrongful termination.
for $500,000.
It's like, I barely make 30,000 a year. Yeah, well, that's your fault. Get a better job, you hobo. But yeah, so it was the vacation honeymoon that my wife and I took, and the reason why I liked it so much was, well, I mean, first and foremost because she was there, made it more fun. But you know, I love road trips, and the first leg of that honeymoon was driving from Oklahoma all the way up to Colorado for your and Michaela's wedding. And so that whole sort of couple of days that we took to drive up there was kind of like a little mini road trip for us. Our first sort of road trip as a married couple, which was really fun. I specifically remember the first night. So we drove through like the panhandle of Texas, drove up into like the northeast corner of New Mexico. And
you took that drive?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Because I like New Mexico, and quite honestly, if we had the time, I would have loved to have taken a little bit of a longer route and actually gone and stopped in Santa Fe for a little bit. But we didn't have the time to do that because we were using a rental car to do that, primarily because I did not own a car at the time, and Mandy had totaled her car the day of the wedding. But also because we were planning on jumping on a plane straight from Colorado to head out to Hawaii, which was our ultimate destination. Yeah, we didn't come to your guys' wedding because we wanted to. It was just a stop on the way.
Sure.
I'm kidding, of course. And this was all pre-planned, so we knew what we were doing. But yeah, we stopped in this, and when I say like really tiny town, I mean really tiny town. They had, I believe, 2 restaurants, which were this sort of sit-down Mexican place and a Pizza Hut.
Not the dreaded Pizza Hut.
the only other place with food, besides I think they had like one gas station, was a grocery store that they had in the middle of this town, and you could drive through it probably in the course of like 5 to 10 minutes. That's how tiny this place was. And so there's like 1 or 2 hotels. We're staying at one of them. We get there around, I think, 6 o'clock or somewhere around there, maybe 6:30, 7. We're like, okay, so we're going to go check in, and then we are going to go and get food. And we're like, you know what? Like, why would we stop and get Pizza Hut when we could just go to, like a local place, this local Mexican place that we stopped by, or we passed by on the way in. So that's what we end up doing. And I kid you not, on a scale of like one on a scale of 1 to Taco Bell in terms of how Mexican this place was, it was a 1. Taco Bell.
Oh, even worse than Taco Bell.
Was a better Mexican restaurant than this place.
Oh god.
we ordered chips and dip or like chips and salsa for like an appetizer, and it was basically these stale chips from like a bag that you would buy at a grocery store, and the salsa straight up was salsa from a jar that you bought at a grocery store.
Oh gosh.
And it was not good at all. It was flavorless. It was kind of cold. It was not good. So we're like, okay, this isn't very good. Hopefully the main courses are better. So I get a chicken quesadilla. I don't remember what Mandy got, but that quesadilla made me want to puke. It was so bad. The cheese was hardly melted at all. And it was almost like they used like Kraft cheese slices as opposed to like shredded cheese.
Gosh.
And the chicken in it was... It wasn't even chicken. That was like eating tire. It was straight like rubbery, gross, awful shit. It was bad. And Mandy's food was just as bad. And I'm the type of person that if I don't finish all of my food, I will ask for a to-go box because I don't like wasting food.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the one time I regret making that decision. I asked for a to-go box so we wouldn't waste it. And my wife looks at me and I'm like, look, we spent money on this and I don't want to waste the food. You know, we can just eat some of it later, maybe in the hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
And we get the boxes, we pay, and we're leaving. And Mandy tells me that she's still hungry. And you know what? I'm still freaking hungry too because this sucked and I didn't eat hardly anything of it. I guess we're going to Pizza Hut. So we went to Pizza Hut and had a much more enjoyable dinner there than we did at this local Mexican restaurant.
Oh gosh.
So yeah, very, very sad occurrence and first sort of night there. But
Mm-hmm.
I ended up making it to your guys' wedding, which was absolutely beautiful. It was a fantastic time. I had a lot of fun. Mandy was felt kind of out of place and awkward for a lot of it because I was, you know, sitting at the table with you guys since I was in the wedding party, and Mandy was sitting with a bunch of random people she didn't know.
Oh gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she knew nobody there aside from you and Michaela and me. So she was sitting at a table with people that she'd never met before. But you know, it was fun time. She made it through. We're all good.
That's good.
Yeah, I think maybe a day or two after the wedding is when we flew out. So we went to the airport, flew out from there. I think we flew to Seattle. And when we get to Seattle, our flight from Seattle to Hawaii, to Maui, is delayed. And we're like, oh man, damn, this sucks. Like, it's delayed? Fuck. Like, why is that? Then we end up learning, because they tell us, that there is a light on in the cabin of the airplane, and they have no idea why this light is on or what it's for. So obviously that's, you know, supposed to make us feel secure, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, you know, who wouldn't want to fly with a random light on in the cockpit?
Who'd you fly with?
I don't remember, man. It might have been Delta.
Was it Spirit?
I don't know, man. I feel
that sounds like a Spirit move.
it probably was Spirit. I feel like it was Delta, but it might not have been. I'm not sure.
Spirit or Southwest Airlines or some of the.
You know, it might have been Southwest. Now that you said that, it's very possible it was Southwest Airlines. But,
oh gosh!
So they hold us in this airport, which, you know, it is summer, but this is Seattle, and this is kind of early in the morning,
So it's a little colder,
and we're inside the airport, and it's cold as shit in there. No joke. It is, I think, 45 degrees or 50 degrees or something. It's low. It's cold as shit.
Oh, gosh.
I normally cold temperature doesn't really affect me unless there's wind. But shit, man, it was cold in there. Like, I was like underneath my jacket, like a blanket, cowering in the seat, waiting for them to figure out whatever this random light was for. Hopefully it's not the, hey, don't lift this airplane off because you'll die light, you know? And I think if memory serves me right, after like an hour and a half, they tell us, hey, like, we're still having this problem with this light, so, you know, we're not boarding yet. We also figured out, hey, there's also this issue going on with one of the wings or something. So there's like something else wrong with this plane too. And at this point, Mandy and I are kind of looking at each other like, we're fucked. we're never getting to Hawaii. Either our flight is going to just get canceled and we're just going to have to go back to Oklahoma, or we're going to die over the ocean somewhere from the plane just exploding because the check engine light is on. And eventually, I guess they solve all these issues. I'm sure it didn't help Mandy's train of thought, because this was like the second airplane that she ever got on. The first one being the one that we had just gotten off of, that came from Colorado. So this is our first time like flying out somewhere, and our fucking several hour long flight from Seattle to Hawaii, which may or may not have been an aerial death trap, was her first experience. So, we get on the plane, everything is kind of fine. For some weird reason, we, I guess, just so happened to get the seats right by the fucking bathroom. So I think Mandy has the window seat, and of course, this is her like second time flying, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not looking out the window." Closes the little window shutter, and I'm like, "Yeah, okay, that's fine." And the bathroom's literally right behind me, so any Joe Schmo that decided to unleash their hell of their bowels in the middle of flight, that shit was getting to me first.
God. Did anyone join the Mile High Club?
Oh, thank God, no. Or if they did, I was playing Ocarina of Time with headphones in loud enough that I didn't hear it. So, thank you, Link, for going "Hia" over the sounds of their mad sex in the sky.
Oh, God. You
make a great traveling buddy.
Is that turbulence? No, that's Craig and Jennifer in there.
Achievement unlocked.
Oh, that's what that light's for.
We can't figure out what this light is for. After they finish in the bathroom, it goes off, and they're like, "Oh!" Yeah. So luckily, that kind of crap didn't happen, at least to my knowledge. And it was nice too, because obviously being one of the several hour long flights, we got we were in one of those planes that had the sort of TV screens built into the backs of the chairs in front of you, and so you had like a selection of movies and stuff that you could watch. And I think it was on the way out there, I spent a lot of the time playing my DS. As I mentioned, I was playing Ocarina of Time 3D at the time. I played that for a little while, tried to get some sleep, didn't really succeed. Then I watched Isle of Dogs, which was like I guess it wasn't claymation, but it was it kind of
stop motion.
Yeah, like a stop motion animation from I'm forgetting the name of the director, but the guy that did like Grand Budapest Hotel and those movies. And that movie, Isle of Dogs, is really, really good. I loved that movie. I was really looking forward to watching it when I saw it was on the list, and it did not disappoint me. Very good movie. So I watched that, and then by the time kind of around then, we were getting really close, so wasn't really doing anything. We land, we're like, hooray! It's an entirely new day, and we're in a new location. The tropical paradise known as Hawaii on the island of Maui. And
you're welcome.
I wasn't what can I say except what the fuck when I got off the airplane. Because we get off the airplane, and the airport is one of those open air airports, so literally the entire like building, there's really like not any like ceilings and doors and things like that. It's just everything's kind of out in the open. You're technically in a building.
Did you get laid?
No.
What?
Well, I mean, I was married, but no.
not that kind of laid.
No, we did not actually, which is kind of interesting. Now that you say that, yeah, we did not get laid. What's your deal, Maui?
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's like you made it here alive, even with the Mile High Club light on in the cabin.
Right.
Just count yourself lucky.
That's where all your lays went, to that couple right there.
To that couple. They laid enough for everybody on the plane. Anyways. I'm gonna need that boat. Sail it away from this. Just sailing away from it.
Oh god.
But yeah, so it's this open air airport, and I have you ever been to California?
No.
Okay.
I've been to Florida.
Count yourself lucky. No. I'm just kidding. But so Southern California, the way that I would sort of describe it is, it's a kind of, nobody from California that happens to listen to this or from Southern California, don't hate me for this description. I'm just kind of describing how it looks, not anything else. In some ways, it's got kind of this like weird, like warm tropical kind of sense to it. You know, there's palm trees and like things like that all over the place. Mm-hmm. And then combined with this weird, almost dingy desert, like everything is kind of like dusty, and there's like, you know, wind is kind of like carrying dirt all over the place, like along like the ground, and just, you know, things like that. And that was almost exactly what the town that the airport and the airport itself looked like. It was just a bunch of like dirt. There was like hardly any grass. There was like a farm, like a tiny ass little like farmhouse type, you know, with like a small chain link fence.
In
like
the airport?
A bunch of free roaming chickens, like right outside the airport.
Oh wow!
Like basically, like we walked from, or we took a bus, I think, from the airport, kind of like down and around this little area to where the rental car places were, and like right outside where the rental car places were was like a little cul-de-sac of, you know, tiny houses with free range chickens just walking around, and, you know, the wind blowing little bits of dust and dirt across the street, and like, yeah, and 100% it looked like Southern California. And, you know, I've been to Southern California quite a few times in my life because I have family out there, and I would be really underselling it if I said that I was disappointed when we first got there, because I was like, really, we spent all of this money to fly out here and the potential to die from that stupid airplane.
You don't even get laid.
That got delayed, and we didn't even get laid, and we're not even experiencing paradise. We're experiencing Southern California on an island. Like, what the fuck? And the trouble doesn't stop there. We get to the rental car place, and keep in mind, this is when Mandy and I first got married, so she was 24 at the time, and I was 23, I believe. And so we get to the rental car place, and, you know, I'm kind of filling out all the stuff because I'm going to be the one that's predominantly driving. And
do they have an issue with you guys not being 25?
Oh, I shit you not, man. That was the okay. We the woman behind the counter. I feel so bad, like looking back on it in retrospect, because she was one of the most helpful people I think ever. Like I was very appreciative of her doing everything that she could. There was a problem first and foremost with my age, because I was the age of 23 and not 25. I was not allowed to even drive the car from what they were basically saying, unless I had somebody kind of like sign off on it or whatever the hell it was. But yeah, we could not rent the car in my name. And I was like, okay, are you fucking kidding me? Like, whatever. And so Mandy had to do it under her name, and
let her do it even though that she was 24.
And if memory serves me right, I think 24 was the cutoff date for them, I guess. Gotcha. Because they were able to let her do it for whatever reason. Or I think it was like, if you were 24, you could do it, but you had to like pay extra, like a fee of some kind for like an underage driver or something, but they wouldn't allow anybody under the age of 24 to do it. Something to that effect.
That extra year, man, you're crazy.
Yes, and it will baffle me forever. This is kind of a side note, but it baffles me. It makes no sense to me why I get like it's a rental car place and it's not that person's car, but fucking why 25? Like I can understand you don't want, a 16-year-old that just got their license to rent a car. That makes sense. But fucking you're old enough to drink when you're 21. Why can't you rent a fucking car and drive
Exactly.
it? That makes no sense.
And like when you're 18, you're old enough to serve your country, but you can't drive a rental car.
Yeah, no joke. It's like you can be put into the line of fire, but shame on you. You can't drink alcohol and you can't rent a car, fucker. It's like, all your rules, Uncle Sam. Stop it. Just be fair.
He's the creepy uncle. Nobody really likes him.
He's the one.
He wants you.
He's the one sitting in the back seat of the plane, right next to the bathroom, going, "Oh, is it their time? Are they doing it?
Let's turn the light on."
Ding.
Thanks, Uncle Sam. Oh God.
But yeah, it's just so we had that issue, and then so we go through all the paperwork crap that we had to go through, and it's time to pay. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pay because I had saved up a bunch of money from my previous job to be able to do this. So it's like, all right, we're renting the car off of my account or whatever. So let's go. And I put in my card, and it gets declined. And I'm like, okay, I know I have money. What is going on here? I try it like 2 or 3 more times. It keeps getting declined. I then get a notification from, I was using Chase Bank at the time. And Chase Bank was all like, hey, your card is trying to be used in Hawaii. You're not from Hawaii. We're just going to block that shit. And so my account got frozen for 24 hours or 48 hours. I forget how long it was that they usually freeze your account. And I wasn't going to be able to just call Chase because we're on the other side of the fucking country in a completely different section of time zone than the whole rest of the country, and it's past the 5 o'clock in whatever state that the Chase national corporation is in, that they would pick up the phone and help you with their shit. And so it's like, great, can't bother to be helped by them, so we'll just have to figure this shit out on our own. So we had to figure out a way for me to basically transfer the money out from my account over to Mandy's, so she would be able to pay for it.
Oh god.
So already I've stepped into a shitty plane, and then stepped out into what appeared to me to be just a really shitty area of Hawaii, to then be emasculated by this car place twice because I'm not old enough to drive their car and I can't fucking pay for it.
You said that this was your favorite trip.
Yeah, I'll get to the cool stuff in a minute. But wait, there's more.
Oh god.
So we finally are able to pay and get through all the shit, and the woman behind the counter, like I said, fantastic customer service, was going through everything with us and making sure that damn it, we were gonna get a car. And she hands us the keys and says, it's in like this particular lot in this particular row. We're like, all right, cool, let's go. And so we leave, and we are walking down that row, and we notice this spot that this car is supposed to be looks like that spot right there where there is no car. And sure enough, there's no fucking car there. So we go back into the place and tell this woman, hey, there's no car in that parking spot. And she looks at us and is like, no, there's got to be a car there.
Did someone steal the car?
I don't know. I was looking there and my eyes were not seeing a car. I don't think it's there, lady. So she's like, okay, let me look it up in the system. looks it up in the system, and then proceeds to tell us, "Oh, would you look at that? It's out on the road." Somebody else had already rented that fucking car.
Oh gosh.
So, adding another string of this just absolute shit show, she had to essentially do this whole other paperwork process to get us another car to rent. We had to go through this whole thing again. And so finally, it's like, okay, finally we got a car. But it's not like, we wanted to do more of like a sedan type vehicle, which is what the original car that, we were going to be renting was. Well, they didn't have any more of those left. So we ended up having to get this huge ass tank of a car, where I kid you not, the way that it was designed, I don't know how car people could make cars like this. It wasn't just, oh, look, there's blind spots, because just naturally there's blind spots. The whole side of the fucking car was a blind spot. This thing was so fucking huge. All of the way that the windows were designed, you couldn't see
what
through
kind
fucking...
Of car was it?
It was... Oh, man, I wish I remembered. And fuck that car. It sucked. Yeah, so because of that, it had the little indicator lights on the side mirrors to tell you that there were people in the blind spots, and then would beep at you if you were getting too close to where those people were, or if you had your signal on and somebody was in that spot. So basically the whole time I was driving around while we were there, I didn't even bother fucking turning my head to try to look out the windows because I wasn't seeing anything. So I basically just had the entire time use the dang side mirrors and the little light indicators and shit to try to figure out what the hell was going on in the lanes next to me. But yeah, so we get that car, and it's like, all right, I have to deal with this, I guess, and let's go to the hotel or the resort. So, we drive through the town, finally get past the town, and Maui is kind of a small-ish but decent-sized island, and there's basically this huge mountain in the middle of it. And, so we kind of get outside of the city, and we're heading kind of towards that mountain, and it starts to get looking really pretty. Finally, there's grass and there's green stuff around instead of just the dirt and palm trees of Southern California. And so we're driving along the road, and we're using GPS because obviously we've never been here, we don't know where anything is. And the GPS is like, hey, you're gonna want to turn here. This road does not turn anywhere, it just keeps going straight. And essentially what it was wanting us to do was it was wanting us to turn directly off of the side of the island into the fucking ocean.
Oh. Your journey ends here. Goodbye.
You got to see some of the beautiful aspects of our island. Die. But I guess
here forever.
Enjoy the view from under the water.
You're welcome.
But I guess there was some of the road had been kind of washed off, and so they did some construction and rerouted the road somewhere else and whatnot. So I just kept following the road because that made sense to me. And eventually it recalibrated to where we were actually supposed to be going. And I was like, okay, cool, we're fine. We know where we're going again. We get to the resort, beautiful as hell. Oh, it was so beautiful. And we were so excited, and we go up to the desk, and they're like, hey, welcome to our resort, all this other stuff, and basically telling us about all the cool stuff that we'll get to do and see and whatnot. And they're like, what's the reservation under? And so we say my wife's name because it was her aunt that, as her wedding present for us, she put the down payment on the hotel rooms for us, so we would be able to stay there. Well, apparently that was a fucking problem. Because we ask for the reservation under my wife's name, and they say, that doesn't exist. So we're like, okay, is it under my name? That doesn't exist. Okay, who the fuck has our reservation then? And my wife being the smart cookie that she is like, oh, my aunt was the one that made the reservation for us, so it might be under her name. So we'll, it's under her name. They look it up and they go, ah, yes, here it is. It's under her name. We're like, okay, cool, we're good. And they go, is she here? And we're like, what do you mean? They're like, well, whenever somebody makes a reservation, like they have to be the one that's here to, get the keys and, pay and like all that other stuff or whatever. And at this point, my wife is starting to freak out and like break down. And I don't disagree with her. And she's basically go through this whole thing of, we can't get into our damn room because her aunt isn't physically present. We can't. They're like, well, why don't you just call her? Well, her aunt had a stroke some years back, and she can't speak English. She was fluent in several different languages, so when she talks, she basically kind of talks like a jumble of different languages at the same time, and none of it's coherent. And so, like, obviously, we can't call her because, for one, it's in the middle of the night or whatever in Oklahoma, and two, she isn't going to be able to communicate with the woman behind the desk. And so they're like, well, we can't do anything about that. And so my wife is pissed, and she's breaking down and crying and saying, like, you know what, let's just we'll stay at a hostel for tonight, and then we're flying back to Oklahoma. We're just gonna fly back to Oklahoma. And I'm like, you know what, no, I fucking wasted all this shit getting out here, almost died in a fucking airplane that may or may not have crashed, or might have had just a button for some people to fuck in the bathroom. I don't know. I had to deal with all this shit with being emasculated by the fucking car rental place. And you know what? I want to stay at this hotel, damn it. And so I had to call the travel agency that we went through, which I believe was Expedia. And, I was on hold for like 45 minutes. And finally they were like, oh yeah, we'll connect you with this person, and they should be able to help you, because basically all you really need to do is just go into your like travel plan thing or whatever, and just change the booking from the aunt's name to your name, but it'll stay on her card. And we were like, cool, that's perfect, because when the person behind the desk basically told us that's what we would need to do, because they couldn't change it on their end. I don't know why they couldn't change it on their end. They couldn't change the booking for their room from somebody else to somebody else that's standing right in fucking front of them.
Oh,
in their system. I don't know. But so I talked to this person for literally less than 5 minutes, and they changed everything over for me. And we're like, cool, hope you have a good vacation. And I was like, yeah, me too. And so then we were able to get to the room, and my wife calmed down. And this gives you kind of an idea of how ridiculous this shit was. We landed in the airport and got off the plane. I believe it was around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometime around then. We did not get all of this shit situated with the rental car and the fucking hotel room and all of that until like 9 o'clock at night. Several hours we went through all of this shit just to get into our damn hotel room. So we get in, we are dropping off all of our stuff. We're hungry. We haven't eaten dinner yet because we were busy doing all this other crap. And the little like restaurant in the hotel is closed already, and there's like nowhere else that's open. There aren't really very many fast food places around us or near us or anything. Some of the ones that were like in the town was like 30 minutes away, so we weren't going to be driving all the way back there, just to get food. And so our first dinner, our first night, our first meal in the beautiful tropical paradise of Hawaii was Taco Bell.
Nice.
there was Taco Bell in this little town about 5 to 10 minutes away from the hotel. And we were like, yep, that's where we're going. So we went and grabbed Taco Bell and ate some food, watched some TV, relaxed, and went to bed. And after that, it was very smooth sailing. We're able to go out and do a bunch of different stuff. That little town that I talked about was called Lahaina, and it is such an awesome little town. I absolutely loved it. I would specifically want to go back to Maui just to kind of explore that town more because it was so cool. Yeah, man, it was like so cool, and the resort was really beautiful and really nice. We got to spend a lot of time on the beach. They actually upgraded us because of all the shit that we had to go through to a different room that actually was on the corner of the building overlooking the ocean, which was awesome. Nice. Very thankful for that. That was cool. But yeah, really fun trip. Really, really great time. We, flew back, I think after a week. We were there for a week, I believe. Flew back and, obviously had the TVs and stuff again. So I decided to watch a couple more movies, and I watched The Disaster Artist, which was so good. Have you heard of The Disaster Artist?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's become kind of a cult classic just because of how kind of ridiculous and just absurd and just ungood it is. It's one of those movies that you just have to watch because it's just so bizarre. But The Disaster Artist is basically the true story of like making this movie and stuff, and it's pretty good. I would recommend it. And after that, I decided, you know what? There aren't really any other movies on here that I want to watch, but they have Justice League on here, and I have not seen it. And you know what? I didn't really want to like pay to rent it or to see it in theaters or whatever, but it's here for free, and I've got time to kill. I'm gonna go ahead and watch it. And it was all right. Not great. I'm glad I watched it at a time where I had a lot of time to kill, as opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna carve out time tonight to watch it because I want to. Like, yeah. So it was all right. I haven't watched Zack Snyder's Justice League yet, which, from what I've heard, is drastically better. So I kind of want to watch it because there were some kind of redeeming parts and parts that I thought were really good and whatnot, but from the other version, but who knows if I'll ever get around to that. But yeah, so basically flew home. We actually ran into somebody from college on the flight from Seattle back to Oklahoma, which is really funny. They sat like a couple rows ahead of us and they were walking by and they're like, hey.
Oh wow. Small world.
Like, yeah, totally small world. So that was kind of funny, but yeah, that was all of the crap that we had to deal with on that first trip.
Oh my goodness.
That ended up being very much worth it. That trip was very, very fun, and I very much would never take that experience back because it makes a great story.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. It builds character too, puts hair on your chest with having to deal with all that shit. Yeah,
I had to like adult while I was out there. I was like on the phone, like on hold with other adults. Oh my god. Please let me in my hotel pool.
Yeah, sure, kid. Here you go. Have a nice trip.
Yeah. Make sure to turn the light on when you go in the bathroom.
Uncle Sam wants you. Uncle Sam? Click. No. Oh, Big Brother's always watching. Oh God!
Help me, Big Brother! I'm stuck.
What are you doing, Step?
What are you doing, Step Uncle Sam?
Oh God! I told you, I want you.
Yeah,
So inappropriate.
getting back on track. So I think it's about time that we hear from you about your favorite vacation trip.
Yeah, so I told you before we started the podcast, so I haven't been on to a lot of vacation places, but I would definitely say that my honeymoon was probably one of the best ones as well. Just because I'm not from Colorado, even though that we live in Colorado and we got married in Colorado, met Michaela in Colorado. We went somewhere in Colorado, which is about 3 hours away from where we lived, which was Estes Park. And we left for there around the same time that you left for Hawaii. So while you were going through all this other shit that you had to deal with, I was probably already comfy into my inn, just listening to the river flow by. But yeah, so we drove out there, and it's about a 3 hour drive. And Estes Park is kind of located to the west of Denver, like a little west and north of Denver. You go into the mountains a little bit.
Yep.
And it's awesome. It's such a nice little small town. And we had the luxury, since we did pick a place that was close to Colorado that we've never been to. We didn't have to get like a rental car. We didn't have to fly there. We just drove there with our own car. Loaded up our bags and just went. Yeah, so everything was golden from there. So we got off on the right foot. Had the road trip, and I remember a discussion that I had with Michaela in the car that blew her mind about how I remember street addresses. And I'm not sure if your brain works the same way, but my brain works the same way as a math equation, because I love math. When I was younger, English was really hard for me because I got a lot of ear infections, so I couldn't really hear English a lot. So you might hear me say some things wrong, or stutter, or slur, or whatnot. But
we don't allow slurs on this podcast.
I remember numbers with math equations, and I make these math equations in my head because that's the only language. I looked at it as like a language when I was a child, that I understand that. So, like, take for instance an address where I'm just gonna make some random numbers like 4236, and I'm like, oh, you take the 4, you divide it by 2 to get the 2, and then you add 1 to get the 3, and then you multiply it by 2 to get the 6, and that's how you remember that equation of a address. And she was just baffled. She was like, your brain works like that? And I was like, yes, it works exactly like that. And it's worked like that with every address that we've had. So I remember a lot of numbers and all that because of these math equations I've made in my head. And she thinks I'm like a total dweeb and a nerd, and she's like, you're like super smart. And I'm like, no, I'm just I just can't hear a lot. But yeah, so I remember us having that discussion driving up to Estes Park. But once we got there, it was raining and it was a little chilly. I want to say around like 55, 60 degrees or something like that. Like, not too chilly, but like comfortable. And we get there and we get to our room. You know, we had room number 7. We stayed at the Inn on Fall River because I heard that was a really good place. And on an impulse, I decided to buy a room there for a week. And I was like, I have no idea what this entails. I have no idea what to do in Estes Park. And we go to this Inn on the Fall River. And it's like a really small place. And when I say small place, that it's a road leading from Estes Park to Rocky Mountain National Park. And literally like 10 minutes before you get to Rocky Mountain National Park is the Inn on Fall River, where they have a little inn, which it's grown tremendously since the last time we've been there. But the first time we went there, there were, I want to say, 8 rooms and then 2 or 3 cabins.
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. And the parking lot had enough parking spaces for 8 cars for 8 rooms. So it was a super small parking lot, and like I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, like a little small area, and it's like literally the river is right next to our room, like our back balcony to our room. You would like open up the sliding glass door, and you could just see the river running by and hear it, and it's quite beautiful and all that.
That's cool.
And yeah, and we got room number 7, which is really cool. We were the upstairs neighbors to somebody, so we're probably stomping around or whatnot. But I remember going in to check in, and apparently the people that owned the place actually lived there as well.
Oh.
And so I remember walking in, and there were baby toys everywhere. And she was carrying a baby, and then I think her husband, who was like the maintenance guy as well, like fixing up the place, was also taking care of another child. And she was like, "Oh, sorry, I'll be with you in 1 second." And she puts her baby in the bouncer right there. It's like, "Hi, how can I help you?" I was like, "Oh, we're checking out for a room or whatnot." It was really like small town vibe where everyone knows everyone kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. So we got our keys and everything and checked in, and they had like a little light show on the river at a certain time where we would just like sit on our balcony and watch the light show, and they played like some Disney songs and all that. And it was really cool. It was really nice. And
You're welcome.
yeah, exactly. I don't think that was a Disney movie then, but I think I know what we're going to name the episode. But yeah, so it was really nice, really cool, and everything was wonderful. The only thing that I would have to say that was bad about staying in the inn, which from this point forward we stayed in cabin whenever we went back up to Estes Park, is because we could hear an old couple fighting in room number 8 right next to us. Because the walls are paper thin, we could hear them arguing. And I remember they must have not stayed there for the whole day. Like they must have just been like checking out or like rushing to get out or whatnot, because they're like arguing, and I can't remember like exactly what they said. I remember bits and pieces. One bit and piece that I do remember though, she was like, "Oh, you know, you're so fucking annoying. Like, why can't you just fucking die already so I can collect your like little life insurance?"
Holy shit.
And then the guy was like, "You're gonna have to wait another couple of years for that, you old hag." And I'm like,
Ooh, the light in the cabin just came on. Ding.
right. Exactly. So I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is crazy. And you know, we went out, and there's a place that we go there every single time we go up to Estes Park called Mountain View Cafe, I believe it's what it's called. And we go there, and they have the most delicious crepes that you can think of. So it's like they have like half a banana, and then they wrap it in a crepe, and then they have like this cinnamon sauce on it, and so it's really sweet, really delicious. And we would go there like every day, and they had really good coffee, and it was like a small town vibe. And it's crazy because every single time we go there, there's always people with like German or Russian accents, and we always ask them like, what brings you here to Estes? And they're like, "Oh, we're German exchange students, or we're Russian exchange students, and we're just trying to work a little bit while we're here in America." And I'm like, this is freaking weird. And it's like every single time we go,
where the hell are you working?
Yeah, always Russians and always Germans. They have that accent. And I'm like, this is a cover for something. This can't be real.
It's the mafia that shot up the pizza place.
That's exactly right. They followed me back. But
the Germans and the Russians trying to take out the Italians.
Exactly. But yeah, so they had like really good sandwiches, really good BLTs, really good breakfast and lunch, and they would close at 3, and it was just awesome. And another cool thing about Estes Park is that we didn't really have to drive anywhere because they have a tram system.
Yeah.
And so you would like, they give you like a little map thing of like all the trams, and all the trams were color coded. And you would, and I say tram, but it was like a transit bus kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you would go there at a certain time, you wait for like the bus to show up, and then you would hop onto the bus and then just ride to the next stop, or ride it until you get to like the main area. So it was always cool to plan our day around like, oh, we have someone that drives us from our inn all the way down to like Main Estes Park area, and then we can walk around there and check out the shops and all that fun stuff, and then drive back. One of the dinner places that we went to, I want to say it was maybe the second dinner we've had there. I can't remember our first dinner, but one of the second dinners, we went to an Italian place called, I want to say it was like Mama Rose's or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I could be saying all these wrong, and I may get, disowned from Colorado Society for all this.
Yeah, banned
But
from
I want to
Estes
say it was
Park.
like Mama Rose's or something like that. But, we go there, and every single time we go there, it's like super packed. That we've like been there and tried to get a seat before, and like, oh, it's going to be like a 2-hour wait or whatnot. And we're like, whatever, we'll just go somewhere else to eat. Then we finally get the nerve, like, okay, we're going to wait for a table this time. And so we wait for a table this time. It was about 40 minutes or so, and we finally get a table. And it's packed. And we look at the menu, and everything is so god-awful expensive for spaghetti and meatballs. Without the meatballs. Spaghetti and just meat sauce. It was, I want to say, like $30.
Good grief.
Yeah, and everyone else that was in there was dressed like sort of fancy, and then me and Michaela walk in with like our hiking shoes, shorts, and a t-shirt, and hats and like a little like glasses on our forehead. We're like, yeah, we did not dress appropriately for this at all. But we sit down there, and we both look at the menu. And we're like, well, the cheapest thing on here is the spaghetti and meatballs, so we'll go ahead and get that. And we both order the spaghetti and meatballs, and then the guy asks us, how many meatballs do you want? And we're like, what do you mean? Like, doesn't it come with meatballs? Like, you just add meatballs and you just add a certain amount? And like, oh, you either can get 1 or 2. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'll take 2. And they're like, oh, 2 is going to be an extra charge, just so you know. They're like $2.50 per meatball. And I was like, what the hell? What kind of meatballs are these? We're like, sure, whatever, like 2 meatballs, like we'll do that. And they come back, and I kid you not, if you were to ball up your fist, the meatball was probably a little bit bigger than your balled up fist.
Damn.
Each one of them. They were huge. And I was like, holy shit. I now understand why they asked. I now understand why they asked how many meatballs we wanted. And this is a lot. And we, eat the pasta. Pasta's all right. Sauce is all right. And then we get to the meatball, and we think that we're going to get like really good experience. And it really wasn't. It had flavor. It's just the texture threw me off, because you know how like you eat like meat and then there's like some like hard pieces into it.
Yes.
And you don't know what those hard pieces are.
And you'd rather not know. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was like the whole meatball. So every single bite, there was always a hard piece that I was spitting out, because like I didn't feel like swallowing that. It wasn't a good time. So we learned our lesson from that point forward. We were going to go to Pizza or Papa, or what was that other place? So there was like Mama Rose's, and then Papa Joe's, I think it was. And there was a pizza place right across this, little shopping area. So they were competitors. It was clearly that they were competitors, because they sold pizza. One was like Italian food, and the other one was Italian pizza. And their pizza was so much better. So much better. We should have just gone there in the first place.
Yep.
But yeah, so it was a really enjoyable time. Like, we just hung out and loved it. And funny story, this actually was not on a honeymoon trip, but it was on one of our anniversary trips, because we go up to Estes Park every year for our anniversary, except for like 1 or twice. And we're probably not going to go up this time, because we've got to save money for the move. Mm-hmm. But one of the times we went up there, every single time we got up there, we seen this taffy shop where they make their taffy fresh in the shop. And we're like, oh my gosh, like, we got to try some of this taffy. Like, we always see this up here. It always smells super good, and we got to try it. And so we go in there, we try it. They give us free samples, and it's like super good taffy to where like it melts in your mouth. And
Ooh.
we were like, oh, how do you do this? And they have all these different flavors, and so we get like a little box to go, and of course, god awful expensive. I think for a box that was, I think 32 ounces, I think we paid about like $55.
Damn.
So, yeah, so like money gouging out the wazoo. But we're like, it's experience. So
Yeah.
we get the taffy, and then we go back to our cabin, and we eat this taffy, and it's good at first, but then we notice that it starts losing the flavor, both of us. And this was the year 2020.
Oh.
Yeah, so we were like, this is losing flavor. Like, what's happening? Like, this, it tasted so good before. What happened? And then, the last 2 days, I think me and Michaela both had like a migraine, and we were gonna go up on like this one trip to see the chipmunks, which I'll get into that here in a second. And we ended up backing out of it because Michaela got super sick. Like, she got super nauseous, like color ran out of her face, and like we had to leave. And we've been up on like the same place before, so it was nothing scary or anything like that.
Mhm.
And she was just sick, and we ended up cutting our trip short by a day to come home early because like she was not doing too good. I was feeling not too hot either myself. I wasn't doing as bad, and I was vaccinated for COVID, and she was not. And if you haven't already put the pieces together,
Yeah.
she takes a COVID test when she comes home, and she's positive for COVID.
Yay.
And I take a COVID test, and I'm negative for COVID.
Yay.
And we've been together for the whole week. And I'm like, is the vaccination doing its job? Like, what's happening? And like, I was sitting there taking care of her, and it was just a god awful experience where she constantly like accused me of like lighting up cigarettes in the house because all she could smell was like dirty cigarette ashes, is what she said, and she could not taste the taffy, and I couldn't taste the taffy either until like way later. We opened up the box like way later, like almost a year later, and she tries some of the taffy. She's like, "Oh my gosh, this is really good. This tastes way better than it did when we first were in shop." And like it's just crazy to think like, yeah, like we probably had COVID, but for some reason I never popped positive, but she did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that was fun. But the trip that we were going to go up on, which is actually a really cool experience, which last time kind of let us down, the aerial tramway.
Oh yeah.
The aerial tramway was where we were when Michaela got super sick a couple years later. But when we first went there, it was an experience. I'm not sure if you've been to the aerial tramway before.
When we went up, it was closed. I think they were making some renovations or something. I think so. It was closed at the time, but yeah, that was one of the things that we were originally planning on doing.
Oh yeah, so awesome, so cool. I loved it when we first went there, and we went there every single time after that. But basically, it's this red tramway where basically you start off the bottom of this mountain. I'm gonna say it's really really high up, and you start in this little red box that, including the conductor, could hold maybe 9-10 people if you're lucky. And every single time someone got into the tramway, you felt it sink down further because of the weight. And it was super rinky dinky, and we thought we were going to die. So we get into this, everyone's crammed in there, like we're shoulder to shoulder basically. And me and Michaela get put on the window side that doesn't have a window. So we literally, like, I could stick my hand out the window, look down, and be like, yep, there's nothing below me just besides this tiny piece of metal. And the thing holding me up is this wire above me. Like, we get up there and we get to a certain point where it's like a huge valley almost. And it's just like the wind blows and it rocks us. And we're like, yep, we're going to die. And then we get up to the very top because it takes us up there pretty fast. And once we get to the top, we're shaking so much that it has like little guard things. So where we hit the guard things to like center us into the little area where we get off the tram. And we get off of there and we're like, oh my gosh, that was terrible. But they have coffee up there. They have a coffee shop. And it's funny because I think they call it like Mile High Coffee or Mountain High Coffee or whatever it's called. But it's literally a Starbucks. It's a Starbucks with a different name. Like literally,
Nice.
to a T. Like their sizes were tall, grande, and venti. Like it was a Starbucks. And when he went up there, like you buy all the stuff, and they ask you like, "Oh, do you want to buy some peanuts for the chipmunks?" I was like, "Peanuts for the chipmunks? What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can buy a bag of peanuts, and then you can just feed it to the chipmunks." I was like, "Really? Is that legal?" And they're like, "Yeah, it's legal here." So I was like, "Sure, whatever." So
It is here, I guess.
Right, I bought a bag of peanuts for $1, and just go to feed the chipmunks. And I go out there, and immediately a chipmunk runs straight up to me and just stands there. And it is the cutest little thing. Like I'm trying to describe it. Like if you were to look at your cell phone, it's probably the size of your cell phone, and it's just sitting there. And I'm like, "Oh, you little Chippendale little fucker! Like, come here." And I get down on one knee, and he runs off. And there are other people out there like, "Yeah, we've been trying to get the chipmunks to feed from our hands, but they just won't feed from us." And I was like, "Oh, well, let me try." And so I put a peanut in my hand. I hold it out there, and he runs up. He runs up closer, and then he's like right up on me, and he's sniffing my fingers, and I'm like, "Oh God, he's gonna fucking bite me." And then like he takes the peanut out from my hand, runs off to like his little like den little area, and then we just see him just like crack open the peanut and shove it more in his mouth, and he comes back with like the peanuts in his mouth, and he takes more and more until the point to where he gets comfortable with me, to where he actually does it right in front of me. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is crazy." And then he brought more of his friends, and more of his friends came, and they're all different sizes. And I'm like, "This is fucking adorable." And we have so many videos of us just feeding chipmunks up there. And it was an awesome, grand time. And just being able to find all these chipmunks that people were feeding all the time. And it was totally legal, and like the chipmunks loved it. However, when we went up there last time, after Michaela got COVID and all that, we went there, and when we went up there, we went to the same Starbucks, and it looked a lot more empty. Like there wasn't a lot of chipmunk activity. And we went up there. I was like, "Hey, do you guys have the peanuts?" Like, "No, we stopped stocking the peanuts because the chipmunks stopped coming because we had to close down for COVID. So the chipmunks left." And we're like, "Oh, really?" Like, "Yeah, but you can buy like a bag of Fritos if you wanted to." And I was like, I guess. I mean, will they take Fritos? Like, is that good for their system?
Yeah.
And then the girl's like, "I don't know. I just work here." And I was like, "All right, sure, whatever." So
Sir, this is a Starbucks.
Exactly. So I bought the pack of Fritos and went out there, and there was not a single chipmunk in sight until about the time that we left to go back off the mountain. We saw one, like very old, looked super gray, didn't look too well off for itself, chipmunk.
Using a cane.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like it needed one, and it wouldn't even take the Fritos from us, and it was terrible. So I hope the chipmunk population goes back up, because we missed that. We missed that a lot. So
yeah, that's a real bummer.
Yeah, but that was our trip, and yeah. So I'm trying to think of anything else. If anything else crazy happened. Oh, one more story I have to share with everyone. The last story I'll share is that we went to the Stanley Hotel, right?
Yeah.
And, we did the ghost tour, and I think I already told the story about how we talked to a few ghosts or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But we're pretty sure one ghost followed us home to our hotel, because every night we would watch American Ninja Warrior and then just go to sleep after that. But it was strange, like at 3 o'clock in the morning. It was 3:33. It was like the devil's number, or the Lord's number, whichever way you want to look at it. And we wake up out of a dead sleep, and me and Michaela just look at each other, and we're like, somebody's watching us. And we're super freaked out. We're like, someone's in the room with us. So I searched the room, no one's in here. We're fine. And I had the lights on. And then I look over at this little wreath that's on the wall. and this wreath looks like it has eyes and a mouth just staring at our bed.
Ooh, no.
And
no.
we're like, oh, fuck that shit. Like, we were like so freaked out. Both of us noticed like the eyes and the mouth the exact same time. Like, we didn't even have to talk to each other. And we are like, oh, hell no. So we left the lights on and we turned the other direction. We just tried to sleep, and we did not sleep that whole entire night. And that was the night before we had to leave to go back to my apartment in Colorado Springs. But yeah, so it was crazy. So, but yeah, so it was just a crazy experience to feel that. And after that, like we're fine. Every single time we went back to the sailing hotel for like those night tours, we swear something follows us back, because it's always that same thing where like we feel like something's watching us. We always wake up at the same time, just stare at each other, be like, nope, something ain't right.
How about you don't move back to Oklahoma? No, just kidding.
Yeah, we'll bring something to Yukon or whatnot.
There's probably plenty of shit here.
Right? Bunch of Indian barrel sites.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so that's my story of my favorite vacation.
Nice. Yeah, you reminded me to. It was one of the things I kind of wanted to touch to on Mandy and I's trip, was how weird like our food choices and stuff were. You know, we were in Hawaii, and I think we had Hawaiian food maybe 3 times the entire time we were there. There was we went to the aquarium there on the island one day, and it was really cool. So they had a lot of like really cool shit there, because you know it's an island. And so a lot of cool stuff. And they had a cafe there at the aquarium. We're like, well, you know what? We're here. It's lunchtime. We might as well get some food here and just eat here. That way we don't have to go back into, town or go all the way back to the hotel or whatever. So at this little cafe, I got I think it was a teriyaki burger with like fresh sliced pineapple on it. But holy cow, dude, that burger was really good. It was interesting batch of like exotic, kind of sweet and savory flavors with the teriyaki sauce on the meat and the fresh pineapple. Very, very delicious. But we also, for some random reason, so there was an area in the little town nearby Lahaina that it was almost like a little shopping center, kind of by the sort of center of the town. So in the center of the town, they had this really huge tree. Think of, a tree that you would see in like a kind of like storybook kind of thing, where it was like in the town square, and it was really, really huge. And at the top, it kind of branched out and covered like the whole plaza, basically, with like some of like the branches and leaves and stuff kind of like dangling down over you. Like that's exactly what this tree was. And it was really cool because basically at night, that whole section of the town was lit up by like the little like street lights and stuff on the shops and the restaurants and stuff. But they also had string lights hung up around this tree, as well as around some of the buildings nearby. And there was almost like a shopping center kind of thing that was a multi-story open air building. That they also had these string lights just all over that building. And so everything was it was like a very cool, relaxing, kind of romantic type of setting, where it's just, you're getting all of the natural light from the sky, and then these lights from like these string lights and some of like these dimmer, street lights, not a whole bunch of, being bombarded by, big city lights and things like that. But there was one night where we stopped by this little restaurant that was up on like the second or third floor of the center, and it was called the Cool Cat Cafe. And it was very busy at this time. It was kind of early evening, but it was already dark out. Kind of the city nightlife was going. They had a live musician playing guitar, like on the little balcony, and we got seated at a seat that basically overlooked that plaza with the tree, which was absolutely gorgeous. And it's very weird because I don't remember what I got to eat that night because I was just so engrossed with the atmosphere of everything. I believe I might have gotten like some form of grilled chicken sandwich or something, but the food was so good, and the atmosphere of it and everything. I think if I could ever have a dining experience repeated, or if I could relive a dining experience again for the first time, it would be that dining experience because it was incredible. I've never
magical.
Yeah, it almost was. It was pluck us straight out of like the Princess and the Frog, like kind of thing. Like that's what it felt like almost. Just the magic of the atmosphere and the food and the people talking at tables near you and the live music and it was fantastic. It was amazing. That was my favorite meal while we were there, and probably one of my favorite meals out that I've ever even just had in general in my life.
Cool Cat Cafe. That's locked in the memory bank.
Yep.
But speaking about forgotten memories, there's something else I forgot to tell in my story that thinking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, how did I forget this? So the last bit of our story is that me and Michaela, we go down to the shop and there's an antique shop down there. And it is like on the outside, I think it says something along the line like Silver's Antique Shop or something like that. Some crazy name, and we walk by it and we're like, like it has a big sign, like we'll check it out. And we go in there and it's just a bunch of white boxes everywhere, and like they're displaying some of the cool antique stuff, like they have the whole entire like Hercules plate set there, and a bunch of other like really cool like collectible stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually a really cool place. And we walk in, and the guy that is there, he's a really good salesman, puts on a really good show, and he's like, hey, you couple look like you like magic. And I was like, sure. And we're like kind of weirded out. And then he was like, how would you feel if I told you that rabbit you just walked by is magical? We were like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, that. Yeah, and he has like a little rabbit like in an enclosure thing right next to the front door.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So he's like, here, I have these rings, and inside they're green. And he was like, what I want you to do is I want you to wear this ring, and I want you to walk out the store and tell me what you see. And he was like, now don't run away with my ring, but just walk outside and tell me what you see. And so my wife puts on the ring, and she walks out, and it turns from a green to like almost a red champagne, like red wine color or whatnot, from her just stepping outside. And it was just like the strangest experience, and we were like, whoa, that's so crazy. And like walk back inside, and it turns back to green. He's like, yeah, the rabbit's magical. And then he was like, no, I'm just fucking with you guys. Like, he was like, these were rings that were really popular back in the day that they don't make anymore. This is probably the last time you'll ever see a ring like this because they don't make this kind of jewelry anymore. He was selling it for a little bit of a higher price. I can't remember exactly. I think close to like $100 or something like that. But Michaela's like, you know what? Let's get the ring because like it would be something to like remember of this time. Like it was a really cool experience, really cool story, and he like really wrapped us into it. So we're like, yeah, cool. Like we'll buy the ring, and the ring we found out reacts to the UV lights from outside. So when you're inside where there's no UV lights, it is green, but when you step outside, it turns into that like red, almost purple, like champagne wine color. And like we're like so intrigued by it. We're like, oh, this is awesome. Like we'll definitely be back. And we leave. We come back for our next anniversary trip, and we can't find the place. And we go like we can't find it on the maps. And so we go out on the trail, and we go back there to look for this place, and come to find out it's been taken over by an ice cream and candy shop. It is now a place where children are coming out of there with like Dippin' Dots or like all these different kind of candies. And me and Michaela refused to go in there because the antique shop was like a staple, and like we were gonna buy like some other stuff from there for like other trips going forward. But this antique shop apparently closed down, didn't have enough business or whatnot. Yeah, which is really sad because we really enjoyed the experience we had going to that shop and the magical rabbit. So we just hope that guy's okay. So,
Yeah. No, I'm just
but yeah,
fucking with
Michaela still has that ring, and she actually wore it the other day, and it's just so crazy. Like I look at it and be like, "Oh, yep, it's green," and then she'll stand next to the window and be like, "Oh, nope, it's purple now." And it's a really cool ring.
Yeah.
So, and she loves it a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, little experiences like that, I think, really just make like the nice little bows on top of the sort of a package of, great trips and memories.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And getting laid or not getting laid when you get off the plane.
Yep, just being met by a bunch of dust, palm trees, and free roam chickens.
Oh God, there weren't any cockfights, were there?
No, not beside the one on the airplane in the bathroom. No.
Oh gosh, Uncle Sam, no. You're welcome.
with that, I think maybe we should call this one an episode.
I think so.
Yeah, so thank you guys for taking a listen and journeying with us through these wonderful trips down memory lane for some of our favorite vacations. Hopefully, though I'm not holding my breath, we will get to go on a vacation again sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully we'll be able to go on a vacation soon.
Yeah.
Maybe we all, like me and you, Ryan, like we could make like a joint vacation to where like your family and my family, we go vacation somewhere together.
Road trip.
That's right.
Yeah. So, we now, I'm going to go ahead and plug us right now because I can, and there is a reason to. We now have social media for the High Tired We're Dadcast. So, hop on over to the Facebook page or the Instagram page. Leave a comment or do whatever. Let us know about
follow it.
Yeah. Help it out of the washing machine when it gets stuck. Do whatever it is
no.
that you need to do. But yeah, leave a message. Let us know, or in the comments on YouTube about some of your favorite vacations and vacation spots. And who knows? Maybe if this podcast becomes super famous and we make billions of dollars, one of the episodes will be just us traveling to different locations that people want us to visit. Probably never.
That's right. And if you have any comments on what our next topic should be or what you want to hear from us, or any more stories or craziness that you want to hear from us, please let us know. Comment in wherever you're watching on YouTube, Spotify. I'm not sure if Spotify has comments, but you can also leave it on the Facebook page or even on the Instagram. We look at that constantly. So.
Yes, even me, the social media hater. I get those notifications too because those ones are about the podcast, not about me. Not about me. me. Let us know any of that stuff, or if you want to see the calendar of us dripping sodas all over ourselves.
Or commercial with Naked and Amazios.
Naked and Amazios.
Oh God. Oh no. Or us rapping Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to whatever the topic is.
Yep. It'll happen.
Yeah, we got a lot of good stellar content, I feel like.
Only time will tell.
That's right.
So with that, thank you all for not watching. You do not listen with your eyes. That's if you do, you probably need to go to the doctor and get that checked out. Thank you for listening, and we are going to catch you guys next week. And remember to stay tired.
Stay tired.